Hello everyone, this is Indrajit Ganguly and welcome to your history class. Dear students, in my last class I have discussed with you some basic concept of Bhakti movement, right? And you understood that the Bhakti movement originated in Tamil Nadu and that were initiated by Alvars and Nayanars. Gradually, Bhakti movement became popular and it spread towards different parts of the subcontinent. So, in my today's class, I will discuss with you about another Bhakti movement which was initiated in Karnataka, and that Bhakti movement is known as Virashaiva tradition, or we can say Virashaiva movement. So, in 12th century AD, a Brahmin called Vasavanna, that is Vasavanna, who was also a minister in the Chalukya court, he initiated the Virashaiva movement. Okay, the meaning of Virashaiva is heroes of Shiva. So you can understand that basically the followers of the movement, and basically the movement started with the devotion of Shiva. Okay, and the followers of these Virashaiva tradition, they basically known as Lingayas. Remember student, it is very important for 1 mark question that who are the followers of the Virashaiva movement? Lingayas. And who started the Virashaiva movement? Vasavanna. All are important for the objective questions. So the followers of the Virashaiva movement known as Lingayas. Now the question is why? Why they get the name Lingayas? Remember students, basically the male devotees, they carried Shiv Linga on their shoulder. That's why they get the name Lingayas. Like the other Bhakti movement, the Virashaiva movement also have some different beliefs and practices. Now, the different beliefs and practices, they believe that on the death of the follower or devotee, they will be united with Lord Shiva and they never return to the world again. So, obviously, I have told you earlier that Bhakti movement is a reformation movement, and basically it challenged the Brahmanical Hinduism, and basically it challenged the authorities of Vedas and Upanishads. So, they condemned or they criticized the concept of cycle of birth and rebirth that I have already discussed you in the chapter 3 that was prescribed in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So, they believe that on the death of devotee, they will be united with Shiva and they never return to this world. Next, they never practice funerary rites. It is very interesting students. After the death of the devotee, they basically buried their dead body. So, it is a very interesting thing that was adopted by the Virashaiva movement. Next one, obviously it is another important component of the Bhakti movement. They challenge the caste system. As you all know that the Bhakti movement, the basic feature of the Bhakti movement is that it challenged the caste system. Next one, Virashaiva movement encourage practices which are neglected or marginalized in Dharma Shastras. Just example, they encourage post-puberty marriage and remarriage of widows. Remember student, it is very interesting in these Virashaiva movement. They challenge the caste system and they condemn those practices which are never performed or which are neglected in the Brahmanical tradition or in the Dharma Shastra or Dharma Shastra. Next, our understandings of the Virashaiva tradition is derived from vachanas composed in Kannada language, both by men and women who joined the movement. So, in your book, there is a different types of vachanas is there. From the vachana, you can understood about the Bhakti movement. It is just like a composition that were used by the Alva Nayanas. I have told you that Bhakti movement is basically focused on the literature, that is poetry, singing, composition, and they believe that poetry, singing, composition can be used for the worship of the god. So, it is another unique thing. So, in the Virashaiva movement, they use vachanas. So, it is also a type of poetry and singing compositions. So, remember students, Virashaiva tradition is very important for both 3 marks and 8 mark questions. Okay students, Bhakti movement was very much popular in South India. Later on, Bhakti movement spread in North India, East India and Western India. So, our next topic, that is topic number 5 from NCERT, religious ferment in North India. Okay, before going to the discussion in the context, or before going to the discussion of the Bhakti movement in North India, we have to know about the context, we have to know about the religious ferment in North India. As we can see that in North India, this was a period when several Rajput states emerged. Brahmins occupied important positions, performing a range of secular and ritual functions. It seems that nobody could challenge the authority or position of Brahmins. So we can say that in North India, Brahmins claimed a very good position and they have a good authority in the North Indian society. At the same time, other leaders who did not function within the orthodox Brahminical framework were gaining ground, and these included Nathpanthis, Yogis and Siddhyas. Remember students, the Bhakti movement is in North India basically popularized by these three groups, Nathpanthi, Yogis and Siddhas. Okay, and they came from artisanal groups including weavers. Okay, and they were becoming important with the development of organized craft production. Craft production developed with the emergence of new urban centers and long distance trade with Central Asia and West Asia. Okay, let's have a discuss about the practices and beliefs of the Nathpanthi, Yogis and Siddha. You can see that they question the authorities of the Vedas. Obviously, like the other Bhakti movement, they question the Brahmanical importance, Brahmanical Hinduism, Brahmanical dominance, and they question the authorities of Vedas, Upanishad, Dharma Shastra, Dharma Sutras. Okay, they express their ideas in ordinary languages. It is very important, like you know that basically Brahmanical Hinduism, they focused only in the Sanskrit languages, and Sanskrit could not be easily understood by the common people. So the Bhakti movement expressed their ideas on the local languages. By this, they can connect large number of people. Okay, and their composition, poetry were composed in that languages, in local languages. Okay, and remember students, the Nathpanthi, Yogis and Siddha, they used the practices like yogasana, breathing exercise, meditations for the devotion of the god. So it is another unique practice. So every Bhakti movement used different kind of practices which were very unique. So Nathpanthi, Yogis, Siddhas use these techniques. And next one, but unfortunately they did not win the support of the rulers. Obviously, so Nathpanthi, Yogis and Siddhas, they could not be popular in North India because they could not win the support of the rulers. As you all know that, as I have already discussed with you about the Alvars and Nayanars, the Chola rulers supported the Alvars and Nayanars, and that's why they created the temples and they composed the compositions of the Alvars and Nayanars. That's why Alvars and Nayanars became very popular in South India. But in the case of the Nathpanthi, Yogis, Siddhas, they could not win the support of the rulers. So without the support of the without gaining the royal patronage, it was not possible to spread the Bhakti movement. Okay. Okay. So in this situation, so next, that is, so gradually in the 13th century, Turkish rulers, they came and settled down India. I hope you know that in 1206, from 1206 onwards, the Muslim rulers came and settled down in India, right? And there was an establishment of the Delhi Sultanate. Delhi Sultanate continued till 1526, from 1206 to 1526. Several Muslim dynasties like slave dynasties, Khaljis, Tughlaqs, Sayyids, Lodhis, they ruled over India. And so we can say that in North India, Muslim culture is gaining importance, and later on, after the 1526, after the first battle of Panipat, Mughals gained importance. So we can say that in North India, basically these Bhakti movement could not become popular because of the gainings of the Muslim dominance in this North India. So in this situation, Sufi tradition, or we can say Sufi movement, gained importance. So in my next class, I will discuss with you about the Sufi movement in India. Thank you and have a nice day.